So today I'm going to be learning about Finnish trucking. This is called Finnish trucking is cooler than you think. So yeah, obviously trucking is such an important job, keeps countries running, transporting goods all around country, different countries and so on. But in Finland, I can imagine it would be quite interesting. It could be quite difficult, I would imagine, if you're going to the more remote places in the north, and especially during maybe the winter and so on, when weather conditions can probably get quite treacherous for truckers. So interested to learn more about it. Tell me if you know any Finnish truckers, if you've been a truck driver in Finland, what's it like? Is it enjoyable? Yeah, let's watch this so we can learn a little bit more.
Finland is a Nordic country located in Northern Europe with a population of around 5.5 million people. As one of the most sparsely populated countries in Europe, over 2/3 of the land is covered by forests and lakes, making for some beautiful natural scenery. Those most acquainted with this beautiful scenery might just be the estimated 25,000 truck drivers who make their home in the country.
Yeah, so that's quite a reasonable or substantial number as well. That's what would be quite good about it when they're mentioning the natural beauty of Finland, to be able to drive around that for your job. I can imagine it would be quite enjoyable just driving through these beautiful places, these forested places near all these lakes and so on. But as you can see, I think driving in conditions like this could be relatively difficult.
From the bustling streets of Helsinki to the endless taiga of Lapland, the undefeatable force that is Finland's truckers are responsible for holding together the loose strings of the country's economy. Welcome to the 5th episode of Trucking World, Finland.
Yeah, that's what it says, like how important it is to the economy. That one is shouldn't be forgotten or like not appreciated by people, because truckers really keep countries moving.
Finland currently has the 18th largest road network in the world, with a total size of 454,000 kilometers, only 17% of which is paved. The minority of roads composed of asphalt are incredibly high quality, as the nation puts a lot of time and effort into their maintenance.
Yeah, with that actually, on like the roads and so on, it's like a huge amount of coverage there, saying that it's very good condition. In Finland, do you pay road tax? How do the normal people pay for it? Is it a separate thing, or do you pay it like out your salary, anything like that? How do you actually pay towards it? What specific tax?
Finland has 2 separate classes of highway, Class 1 and Class 2. Class 1 roads are intended to be the main thoroughfare between large cities, and can be anywhere from 2 to 6 lanes in size, depending on proximity to an urban center. Class 2 roads are built to connect regional centers and smaller cities to the network, with almost all of them being 2 lanes in width. Regional roads exist below both of the previous classifications, and exist mostly to connect small towns as well as to create alternate routes between cities. Connecting roads serve mostly to join rural population centers to larger roads, and local roads, the smallest classification in Finland's network, can often be gravel or dirt, and connect the most remote of the country's population. On the highways, trucks are generally limited to a maximum speed limit of 80 kilometers an hour, though this is sometimes lowered in the winter months due to weather conditions. Alternate roads have differing speed limits depending on the area, such as a 60 km an hour limit on large city streets, and a 30 km an hour limit in residential areas. As a European nation, it's no surprise that most trucks on Finnish roads come from European manufacturers, such as Scania, DAF, Volvo, MAN, Mercedes, and Iveco. Finland's own Siso branded trucks can be found here as well, though they're considerably less common than many competitor brands. Considering Finland's status as a Scandinavian country, Scania trucks are the most popular here, many of which are beautifully maintained with abundant exterior modifications such as lights, horns, or paint colors. While this is done mostly for aesthetic purposes, in the winter months these bright colors and lights show their functionality, as they stand out against the omnipresent Finnish snow and help other drivers to be aware of the truck's presence.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to say, is like, sometimes you see these trucks driving through. I think in the UK they're not as common to see these brightly coloured trucks. But when I see videos of like in European countries and even America, it seems more common. And yeah, usually I would have thought it's just like for personal preference for the driver, to make it feel like more like personal and so on. But definitely you can see the practical benefits of it in Finland. for being bright coloured in those foggy winter months.
Manufacturing is a large facet of Finland's economy, producing items such as electronics, machinery, vehicles, wooden products, and chemicals. While all of these industries require trucks in order to export products, the forestry sector is arguably the most reliant on these Nordic beasts. Logging trucks are a common occurrence in the country, more so in the north than in the south.
Again, I know that that's an important part of like the Finnish economy. It's something that's quite different from the UK or Scotland. You don't really see trucks because obviously we don't do logging as much, so it's quite cool to see something like that. But I guess maybe in Finland that's just normal to see those sort of trucks driving around. I think it's something maybe again like I more associate with America, Canada and so on. But yeah, really cool to see that, and especially see the Sisu branded lorry.
These trucks are some of the most robust in the nation and can haul over 80 metric tons worth of wood in a single trip. As logging operations generally function in remote areas, these truckers are tasked with a lot of rural driving down some pretty narrow dirt roads. In the winter, when these roads are covered in snow, there is an additional layer of challenge and danger, as many of these roads can take hours to conquer, being dozens of kilometers in length.
Yeah, like again, I've watched some videos like this for different countries. This one definitely looks like has the most challenging conditions to drive in, especially considering it's a truck as well. Like these sharp corners and obviously just the lack of grip in the snow and ice and so on.
Finland's main exporting economic partners are Germany, Sweden, the United States, the Netherlands, and China. For other EU nations, much of freight is transported via truck, while the United States relies mostly on sea transport to receive their goods. The average salary for a Finnish truck driver is 45,682 euros, or 48,166 US dollars per year, placing the country 11th best in the world for trucker salary. Within the country, regular semi-trucks are limited to a total length of 16.5 meters, a total height of 4.2 meters, and a total gross weight of 48 metric tons. However, for trucks featuring more than one trailer, these limits increase to 25.25 meters in length and a weight limit of 60 tons. Though again, this weight limit is variable depending on the number of axles, and there are plenty of Finnish trucks which carry more than this. Finland also allows large abnormal loads which can vary wildly in terms of weight and length, each one requiring a permit from the Finnish government in order to operate. Finland allows truckers to drive a maximum of 9 hours per day, though this can be extended to 10 hours 2 days a week. Each day they must take 11 hours of rest time between their shifts, and cannot accumulate more than 56 hours of driving time per week, or 90 hours of driving time over the course of 2 weeks. The largest challenge most Finnish truck drivers face has to do with the weather. As a Nordic country, Finland's winters can be long and harsh, with excessive snow and ice that makes driving a more dangerous activity. In addition, the sun sets earlier in more northern regions, so a lot of driving is done in the dark. Usually, speed limits are slowed a bit during bad weather to give drivers more time to react on the road, at least until snowplows can come along and clear the snow. Finland's snow removal system is pretty efficient, and while sometimes the weather can cause traffic delays, these are usually cleared up quickly. Finland owes a lot to the thousands of men and women who pilot trucks on their roads, and whether they're driving down a snowy lane to a logging facility, or hurtling down the urban highways of Helsinki, all Finnish truck drivers deserve our gratitude and respect for the job they do.
For sure.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Yeah, really cool. Interesting to see. Yeah, I never considered also the shorter days in winter, making it dark and visibility even less than just the weather causes itself to make it even more difficult. So yeah, again, like a huge respect to those drivers driving in those conditions, keeping the country running really. So tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you would ever consider doing that as a job. The salary seems quite reasonable as well. Good requirements for the amount of hours and so on, so that drivers are not driving too much and can keep fully focused and so on. So yeah, tell me what you think about that. Thanks.